G'day YouTube, welcome to GJBricks. I'm Greg. Now, today you may have heard a bit of news. LEGO has announced a new set for the theme park, which is the Haunted House set number 10273. This came out of absolutely nowhere, was not expecting this, to the point where me and Dr. McBrick were actually having a conversation literally 30 minutes before the announcement dropped about haunted houses. The reason being, it was twofold. I was saying I wanted to do some kind of a haunted hill in my city, and he was telling me about a delivery he'd had where he'd actually bought the monster, the Monster Fighters mansion, and it basically, the box had fallen apart in the post and bricks were spilling everywhere, and his postman was a legend because he'd picked all the bricks up and somehow the entire set was there in this massively damaged box. So literally spilling parts down his driveway. And then lo and behold, LEGO drops this fantastic looking set. Now I will say right now up front, when I saw the price of it, I had reservations, but I then watched the designer video of what's in the set, how blooming clever it is, and I've kind of revised that a little bit, apart from one thing which I'll talk about at the end. So let's start by looking through this set. Now it's got 3,231 pieces in it, and it comes in this fabulous box. Now I do like the design of this. It really is kind of like LEGO's really made a premium on these boxes now, and I've actually got the Boba Fett helmet to build, and the styling, the box on this and the box on that very much remind me of how LEGO's really treating these like premium sets now. This is an 18 plus set, by the way, according to them. So in their material it literally says this is an 18 plus. You got to be 18 to build it. You obviously don't have to be 18 to build it, but that's who they've targeted. Yes, I know I'm over 18. It's hard to believe. But going through the box, I mean, this instantly, around the back, the interior is packed with detail. And if you watch the designer video on this, they've really gone on a nostalgia trip down there. The main designer on this is a big fan of Baron von Baron, who's part of the Adventurers theme, who is this guy who travelled through time. I don't know that much about that theme. It was in my dark ages, sadly, but he absolutely loves it. Worth watching the video. I've linked it down below in the description. Go and check it out. But I love this box. I love this. I was actually watching an engineering video on Disney's Tower of Terror, which is basically what this is based on, where the lift goes up and then drops down. I had no idea that was built by Otis, the lift company, the one that makes the lifts in most buildings you go in. They actually built the theme park lift as well, which I think is very impressive. Watched a great video on it. Anyway, this packaging reminds me of that because I watched the sort of all the schematics on it and things like that. And it's very clever the way the lift goes up, the doors open, they get a view, and then whoosh, down they go. And that's amazing how they've done that. And I'm going to show you in a second. Actually, no, I'm going to show you now. There's a little clip here from the designer video of the lift going up. The mechanism behind this that's actually making this all work. They've got flywheels, they've got stuff. They put a good chunk of design into it. And this is where I suddenly think that the 350 Australian dollars or the 250 US dollars actually makes sense, because of the amount of engineering that's actually hidden away. You can't see it, or you can see it if you look at the back of the set, but the amount of engineering that's in here that's making that happen is incredible. Brilliant. Kudos to the designers for making this work. Now I will say right now up front, I was going to say this later on, but this does have a powered up option, but you've got to buy that extra, and I'm a bit miffed about that because it's quite expensive to not include that, and then to put the powered up on there, I think it's probably going to cost you about another 100 Australian dollars to get the parts for that, which is not ideal, unfortunately. Having looked at it, the main control box, battery box things are about $60, $70 here in Australia, which is why it's actually cheaper to buy the trains to get the it's ridiculous. Anyway, don't understand the pricing, but you get the app. Anyway, I've included this shot here of the front of the set, and that architecture is just lovely. I love it. I think it looks great. I love the use of that sand green. it really kind of sings of kind of like the Scooby-Doo mansion, things like that. All these things that are very close to my heart. I love those sets, and I love the little dashes of color here. That picture really works well for me with the one of the twins there and the ghost out the front, and it really does not look inviting at all. So you can understand why people are going to be a bit scared when they go in there. And then when you see the set opened up like this, it looks fabulous. You've got loads and loads of details in there. They've got a skeleton in there. You've got the tower in there. I will say this about the mechanism. In watching the designer video, they actually tested the mechanism up to a height of 2 meters, at which point it didn't work anymore. But they found it could go substantially higher than they built the set. So it'll be interesting to see how far people take this and make that happen. But going through the interior here, I'm not going to do it in detail. Just going to say there is a ton of stuff thrown in here. The doors open automatically. There's the Baron there with a light brick which lights that up. This is the Baron von Baron I was mentioning. You've got a beautiful, beautiful pipe organ with those gold pieces and loads of keys. You've got a Pharaoh again from a classic Lego set. It's great detail. And watching the video really kind of brought it home to me that there's a lot more to this set than you actually see almost by just looking at these pictures. You have to watch the designers and tell their story, and then you really start to understand. So it'll be interesting to see the instruction manual that comes with this one. Again, here's another square on photo of the interior, and again you can see there's the Egyptian Pharaoh's tower in there. You've got all kinds of things going on. The Baron von Baron actually travels through time, and that's partly shown in here as well with these weird things above the ticket booth. The ticket booth is the one just to the right of the lift. There's this, the chain mechanism is just, I'm amazed at how that works. It's so clever. Can't wait to see how that works. Here is the Baron close up. A great image. Great image. Looks very serious. Apparently he's a bad guy. So anyway, here's all the minifigures you get in here. You can see there's the twins, as they're called, who are actually the main ride operators. You've got the ghosts, you've got a skeleton in there, and then you've got several nervous-looking passengers, and you've got sort of the thrill-seeker girl there. You've got the guy in the wheelchair. You've got a couple of other people there. One with sideburns is interesting to see. I don't think I've ever seen that one on a minifigure. Looking at it close up, somehow the two ladies at the end have managed to keep their hair perfectly neat despite this scary lift, which is impressive. And again, I just love this shot. This is good Lego humor here. The queue of people to get in there. I love the fact it's got the skeleton on the end. This is one of the promotional shots. I absolutely love this one. And that cabinet in the back is actually a sign of what I was saying about all the nostalgia in this set. So let's come back to that one a second. Here, this shot. The cabinet behind has all of the kind of adventure sets and other things that sort of inspired it. The scary kitty with the eyes, I don't know what that's to do with, but it's quite funny. You can see the Pharaoh set I was mentioning there, and that Pharaoh's head in the top right of the cabinet behind is actually the same one you can see on the interior there. So that's meant to be the same head. That's literally the same head that's on that set. I love that detail. I love how the designer of this set, or the lead designer on this set, went back and put all those little details in there. I really recommend watching the designer video. It makes the value and proposition of this set so much better to me. I like the powered up control here is impressive to me. I like how this looks. Like the fact it's got the lever on there, which obviously is like making this lift go up and down, and all the various things you can make it do. So it's going to be interesting to see, does that just control the lift, or is it going to control the door and the light as well? That will be something to find out. They haven't given too much detail on that, other than you can power up. You can use powered up to motorize the lift. So let's see. But I think that set, I've been thinking about this one, and I was like on the fence, and I've been looking at it and on and off today, just looking at it, reading a few details on it, and I think the designers have actually nailed this one. I do think the price is possibly a bit high. I do think I would have liked to see it around the $300 mark, but they do get a lot of pieces in there. There's a lot of big pieces in there, and I think that mechanism round back is absolutely phenomenal. Like the engineering to do that, the amount of trial and error that went into that, great. The nostalgia trip here, brilliant. To me, I think this set is I think Lego has done a fantastic job. They've really kind of nailed the whole sort of theme of it. Now, I do feel like the outside of the house could maybe look a bit more haunted, could maybe look a bit more run down than it does. I think it does look a bit too neat, so I think there's some work needs to be done there. I'm kind of almost looking at the Lego Ideas rundown house that's just gone through as inspiration for what could be done to improve the overall frontage of this set. But otherwise, I think the whole theme, the whole idea is great. I like seeing this. This is brilliant. I've loved the haunted houses. I wish I had the Monster Fighter house, and I wish I had the Scooby-Doo one, because I love Scooby-Doo, and the Monster Fighter house is one of those classic sets that everyone wishes they could own and had bought it when it was around the first time. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this set. Do you like it? Do you think it's a good one? Do you think it's a winner or not? Do you think it's overpriced? Do you think it's absolutely spot on the money? What about the 18 plus? I think, it doesn't need to be an 18 plus. That kind of says why it's priced the way it is to me. They're targeting people with a bit more money in theory. I don't know. Perhaps that's the reason why it's, not $300. It's good piece count. There's a lot of parts in there, lots of sand green, lots of grey, lots of detail, lots of things going on. Looking forward to seeing the powered up. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on this set. Is it a win? Is it a yes or is it a no? Is it going to be a ride you want to go on or not? Anyway, if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. I post regularly, and here's a couple more places you can find me online. I do have other sites, other channels, other things where I post different content, so go and check those out and support my channel in those places. Here's a couple more videos I think you will enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon.